Hello Parsons Productions fans, and welcome back to yet another episode, a Suzuki Sv650 episode. You remember my Suzuki Sv650, and it has been quite some time since we've done some work on her. I ride this thing all the time, and she is an awesome bike, and I love this bike to death. We are going to do some upgrades today. This bike came from the factory as a naked style. We're going to stay true to that naked style with this little table of parts right here. So on Facebook Marketplace, I picked up this very blue, very dusty fender, as well as this rear right fairing. Started its life as a yellow rear right fairing, and we are going to make it into a blue rear right fairing. I painted its primer gray because there was a bunch of cracks on it. I did a fiberglass repair on it right here, and I sealed the front with some Bondo. We'll be sanding this down and painting the inside black. Drum roll please. This humble tube is going to change the Suzuki Sv650 for quite some time. What is it, may you ask? Glad you asked. This right here is baby blue. Sky blue as my eyes. See the color? Yeah? Okay, that looks good. This is going to be the wrap we've chosen for the Suzuki Sv650, and we're going to use this whole tube to wrap this whole bike. There's really not much real estate on this bike, so it's going to be pretty easy. We have the gas tank, the front fender, the rear right fairing, the rear left fairing, and this little back piece as well as the handle. We have a rather large dent right here. This dent may or may not be fixed in this video. Could fill it, or we could get a dent puller and try to pull it out. I've talked to a few repair shops, and a lot of people have turned it down, which is quite shocking. Replacement tanks from Suzuki themselves is quite costly, anywhere from like $600 and up. And I'm not willing to spend $600 and up for an OEM gas tank. So I'm gonna look on Marketplace again and see if we can try to find a replacement gas tank that has no dents. But in the meantime, we're gonna get started on that rear right fairing. We're gonna get it all primered up and ready for wrap. All right, so we're just taking it down with 400 grit sandpaper. Then we'll come back with 600, and then we'll come back with a higher grit, perhaps 1200, just so it's nice, smooth, even. And we'll give this whole thing a nice sand down to make sure it's perfect before wrap gets installed. And while my lovely assistant is taking care of the sanding, I am going to start taking apart the rear section. This part right here is trash. This was damaged in the accident, so there actually wasn't a fender here for the longest time. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna remove the seats, both the rear and the front, remove this panel and the rear little handle type deal, and we're gonna get them ready for wrapping. Okay, so we are now outside, bright, sunny, and beautiful. Shocking for the state of Washington. But I've got some gloss black paint. We're just gonna mist the backside of this just so it has a nice finish, because I'd hate to open the seat up one day and just see yellow. Let's get black. Alrighty, so the Suzuki Sv650 is completely stripped except from the gas tank because it's missing all of its fairings. And where are all its fairings, you might ask? Well, if you take a gander, they've migrated to this table. So, fairings we need to wrap. We have front fender, left fender, the little hook, the little piece that goes on the end right here, as well as the fender that's drying outside, which we're gonna do very last, just so the paint can dry. Main reason we are wrapping all of this is, well, look at this. If I take these out in the sunlight, show their true colors, you can see they're not quite the same blue. I thought in the pictures they were the exact same blue, but they're not. I would like it all one color. So this is the main reason we are wrapping them today. This is the last time you're gonna see this sparkly blue, and it'll be a baby blue. Let's get wrapping.
A baby blue.
This is the first piece we're gonna wrap, side saddle piece that goes right below the main rider's seat. We've cleaned it off really well, and now we're gonna cut a piece of the wrap. We got the color all out, and man, I cannot wait to see this on the bike. It looks so pretty. We're gonna try simple pieces first, like a nice flat one. It's gonna go point and blue. Do a nice little transition. Okay, so a little update. This is matte. I didn't realize this was matte. Check out how my assistance is coming. It looks great so far. Well, after a long 30 minutes, that is our results. You see it out in the sunlight. You know, I wasn't sure about the matte, to be honest. And this is what it looks like on the bike. This piece will go right here. Yeah, it's gonna be different, that's for sure. And I'm not necessarily sure if I'm super happy with the matte, but let's keep going and see what happens. Next up on the list is this little back piece. I'm gonna leave the Suzuki sticker on, and I'm just gonna wrap it like that. This should be the easiest piece, because we got pieces like that, and the pieces we just finished wrapping, and the gas tank, These two turned out not too bad. So we got one out here that's kind of curing in the sun for a little bit, finishing up the last one. Looks pretty good if I do say so myself. We have some nicely wrapped pieces here. Got 4 of them done so far, and I've wrapped a few things in my time. For example, this Camaro, and this wrap went on pretty good. Like, you know, there's a few little mistakes here and there, but other than that, it went on pretty great. Don't mind the dirt and such. It hasn't been cleaned in a while. However, with this wrap, it doesn't go on the best. I mean, there's some bubbles, and usually I'm able to work the bubbles out, and this isn't going as well as I planned, but you know, we're gonna try it out. Usually if you leave it in the sun for a while, it does bake on and like really gets embedded in. So we're gonna let it bake for a while, and hopefully it'll all be ready to go in a little bit. Okay, so it is the next day. As you know, wrapping takes an eternity sometimes. Got my lovely assistant here. She did a wonderful job wrapping this rear fairing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have the trusty Cricut machine. Just FYI, if anyone's thinking about purchasing one of these, the old ones are freaking terrible. You have these set cartridges and not a whole lot, so I did some research, and the newer ones you can download your own font and own stuff like that, and these things are kind of trash, but whatever. We made this little thing. It just says Suzuki. I wanted to get creative with it, so we're planning on wrapping the tank and just saying screw it and wrapping over the dent. Don't really know how that's gonna work, but you know, this wrap is okay. The one thing we were noticing is they look great and all. However, it kind of looks like primer, just like gray primer, but it's okay. This wrap isn't permanent. Something cool like green. Okay, so we found a little hack. We're printing a U at the moment. We already have the S. We tried printing the gold underneath, and it just looked a little funky, so we're gonna try a whole new little attempt at it. It's just a test. This is just for fun.
A lot of my viewers can probably relate to this. If you've ever filmed a YouTube video before, you can understand it can be slightly inconvenient to film a video and get a project done in a timely manner. At this point in the video, I enlisted some help from a buddy of mine, and we busted out the tank together. The Suzuki Sv650 has a really odd-shaped tank, a lot of curves, a lot of negative spaces that wrap does not like to stick to. So this was actually incredibly difficult. It challenged a lot of our wrapping skills and a lot of our abilities, but I think we did a pretty good job at the end. Sometimes stopping every 10 seconds to make sure the camera's perfect and the lighting is all set gets a little annoying. So I just started reassembling the fairings and installing the new and improved front end of this Suzuki Sv650. This is what the old headlight looked like. It's a halogen, and it's bright enough, but I think we can do better. This is the brand new LED headlight, as well as the brand new cast aluminum headlight housing. My Suzuki is a 2006. 2006 for a lot of us doesn't seem like that long ago. However, finding OEM parts for this bike is close to impossible. I had to outsource a lot of parts from eBay, as well as Facebook Marketplace, in order to find anything that fits for this motorcycle. So gathering all these parts for the front end took me quite some time. As soon as I bought this bike is when I originally started looking for these parts. And it has taken me up to now to finally have collected every single one in order to complete this front end. Now off camera, I painted and detailed all of these little itty bitty parts that all make everything worth it. I didn't quite film all of it. However, this is what the final product looks like.
Well, Parsons Productions fans, that wraps up the wrap video on my Suzuki Sv650. This wrap looks incredible. I really was not about it at first because I thought it looked like primer. From a distance, it looked like gray primer. As you get closer, you can definitely tell it's not. It kind of reminds me of that brand new Toyota color they do. It looks similar to that, but it's matte and it looks cool. Front end, let's talk about it real quick. In the accidents, this whole front end was demolished. I rebuilt everything from this point forward, and it was insane outsourcing all these parts. So for example, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, 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 eBay. Point being is they don't make parts for this motorcycle as widely as they used to. Now, that's not a problem. However, finding parts for this is a lot more tricky. So for example, small stuff like these handlebars. These handlebars aren't stock. The original one was chrome and it was super banged up on one end, so I had to just replace the whole thing. I personally like the black better. All of these parts have been repainted because nothing is brand new. It's all OEM, however, it was used and it was quite beat up. For example, there's small stuff like this that kind of bothers me, but once again, it was used. It's on my to-do list of never-ending things on this. But now let's talk about the elephant in the room, vinyl wrap. Vinyl wrap has never once been my strong suit. I was talking earlier about how wrap is really hard in these negative spaces, like these concaves. You can see there's small little errors here and there. We did a pretty darn good job at the end of the day. However, I don't know if I'm gonna keep the wrap forever. I'm probably going to take it off and repaint the bike someday. That day is not today. I'm super stoked with the motorcycle. I'm still waiting on decals for the tank, but I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I did making this video. So until the next video, I'll see you later.